Yo, what's going on, guys? It's someone that's known here today, and today we're bringing you the last part 3 of the Tale of Derald. And this is a lot shorter than I actually anticipated it to be, and I apologize for that. It was going to be like 13 minutes or something like that, but I actually made a lot of speaking errors in the last part of this recording, but nonetheless, here we are. It's the ending, and if you haven't seen the first parts of these, they're going to be linked down in the description below. If you guys like this, like the video, let me know in the comments and whatnots, and hit your boy up, subscribe, all that. So, it's been your boy, someone that's no one, and without further ado, let's jump right into this. On Saturday morning, Kendall and Derald decided to meet up again at the same coffee shop to talk. Derald took the car that contained Deshawn's body parts. It was raining hard that morning, but the two still made the effort to see each other as planned. Derald knew he just had to keep his cool, and he was actually fairly good at setting his mind away from Deshawn and what happened just 2 nights prior. Derald could tell that something was off about Kendall, though. No reports should have came in about Deshawn missing, but like any good boyfriend, the two probably texted or at least would have met and spent time together. That obviously never happened in the last 2 days. But Kendall made it seem like everything was fine and kept the conversation away from Deshawn. Everything seemed to be going good. Derald wasn't nervous a bit. Any normal person would have tense psychological trauma after what they did, but it wasn't the first time he experienced something so gruesome. Being in a gang and dealing drugs, you will end up seeing a lot of bad stuff that would mess up a lot of normal people. Derald grew into it and became accustomed to it. He was able to handle the situation as is. Eventually, Derald got the nerve to ask a question about Deshawn. "So, how's your boyfriend doing?" Derald asked casually as Kendall finished up talking about her job as a teacher. Kendall said, clearly with hesitation. Kendall was more angry at Deshawn than worried. "Everything is going good." Kendall kept it short, but Derald pushed some more. "He treats you right?" He sure does." Kendall tried to play it off. Derald wanted her to talk about it more, how he wasn't there. Also, Derald knew that it might not be a good time since it has only been a couple days. Derald stayed silent for a few seconds and Kendall finally came out. Kendall wanted to talk about this to someone. "We were supposed to go out to eat last night, but he never called or texted back." "Really?" Derald tried to act a little surprised. "He do that often?" "No, sometimes." This was news to Derald, so maybe Deshawn wasn't exactly the perfect guy. Either way, he was out of the picture now. For the most part, he is cool, but sometimes he's selfish and only thinks about himself. Derald took that in and said, "You need a guy who would treat you like a princess." It sounded kinda cheesy, but Kendall laughed. "No, stop," Kendall said, smiling. "I'm serious. You deserve better." Derald kept going. "All the things you do, you really do deserve that." Derald continued to compliment her lightly. Kendall took them lightly as well. The rain began to come down harder until there was thunder that seemed to cause an interruption. Kendall took a sip of her coffee and commented, "Wow, it's really pouring today." They both looked out the window to see it all come down. The car was right there with Deshawn's body parts inside. They both saw it, an unexplainable phenomenon. Derald's car was flooding. The streets weren't flooded one bit, but his car had water up to the windows. Neither could seem to believe it. Derald's heart dropped in fear and his senses peaked. "Oh my God, your car is flooding!" Kendall and Derald both stood up and they went outside in the pouring rain. Derald knew he had to unflood it now, so he opened the door from the driver's seat and the water came out pouring. He was praying in his head that the glove compartment wasn't open from the water, and it seemed that fate was on his side. It stayed shut. The water poured out on his side slowly. "We have to open the other side now," Kendall said loud enough and went around the car. "No, wait!" Derald tried to tell her, but the rain was just too loud and Kendall had already went to the other side. It was too late to lock it and Kendall opened the door. Derald was just praying to God that the glove compartment wouldn't open. It wasn't, and the water started to recede from the car faster now. Derald just wanted this to end swiftly, but the car might not even start up now. Derald just kept praying that luck would be on his side. The water came out eventually, just leaving some at the bottom of the seats. The two just watched as it all came out. "Your car is ruined," Kendall said, feeling really sorry for Derald. "We're gonna have to tow it probably. I wouldn't try to start it," Kendall said from across the car as rain pelted the hood. Both were getting soaked, but it was the least of Derald's worries at the time. Kendall's hand went for the glove compartment next. It was like time slowed down for Derald as he watched her hand slowly make its way to the glove compartment. Derald knew he had to stop her. "Wait, wait!" Derald's instincts told him to say, but it was like as if there was some demon holding his tongue or just some type of evil entity sealing his lips shut. Kendall's hand was on the latch, and Derald was just like a statue, just staring lifelessly. What was a second seemed like minutes for Derald. From that point, he knew it was too late. He realized it will never work out. Kendall's hand opened the latch, and it all came falling out. Everything that was in there, the hands, the feet, parts of the arms and legs all came out in pieces. Kendall let out a scream that Derald didn't even seem to hear, and she jumped back. Derald just stared at the body parts as if they were props. He thought maybe he could play them off as props, but not with his lips still sealed, he couldn't. The demon inside of him was going against him, and at the worst time. Derald's mind raced about what he can do. Kill Kendall was an option. The only problem was the place they were in was way too public. Even if he could get her into the car and drive off somewhere, someone would definitely see her struggle. Suicide was another option, but Derald quickly diminished that idea. He still valued his own life like anyone else would. The other option was to simply let things happen, let him pay for his crime. That was the noble thing to do at this point, but it wasn't his style, not one bit. He lived the life of a thug, and he planned to continue to live his life as one. As his mind raced, Derald met Kendall's eyes. She was shocked, crying with both hands over her mouth. Even though the hard rain beating down on her, Derald could tell tears were sliding down her face. Kendall was just in disbelief. She never thought Derald would do something so gruesome. She knew she would have to call the police on him, but at the time, she didn't know that the body parts were from her boyfriend, Deshaun. Derald just stared back through the rain, giving it away clearly of what he did. His eyes were filled with sin. Derald knew he would never settle for jail so easily, so he did the only thing he knew how to. He ran. He ran like he ran from all his other problems. He ran hoping to find light in his life, but only to find darkness.